Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chelsea and we talk all things cozy personal finance here without the shame and without the guilt. I need to get that on a t-shirt. We are gonna budget my second paycheck of September together. Let's get into it. Obviously, I have my computer with me, so I will be sharing any updates to my September budget and all that fun stuff. Alrighty, so starting off with our goals again, just a quick check-in for our September goals, especially since this is the last paycheck of this month, to start budgeting for giving. And I actually did do that. I budgeted a total of $50 for this month. Again, I'm not 100% sure how everything is going to play out as far as like where the money is going and all that. I've been toying around with a couple of ideas, but I think for this month, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to donate it to a cause and then keep thinking for further months, because this is something that I want to keep going. So I'm gonna keep thinking. If you have any ideas about this, please let me know in the comments below, like what I should do. I was also toying around with the idea of maybe like carrying half of it in cash. When there's just an opportunity to express or like show kindness in some way, I can do that and then have some of it on in my savings still, so that I can donate it to a cause or something. I don't know. Let me know your ideas in the comments below if you do some sort of variation of this. But we have completed that goal. Track expenses, we're still doing that. I actually just came back from my trip with my grandmother, and although I wasn't tracking them daily, I do have a list of all of those expenses from there as well. So we're doing our tracking. Next is to send an extra $225 towards debt, and we are on track to do that. I'm so proud of myself. I was nervous with, the trip, and just sometimes I fall into impulsiveness. I was just nervous that I wasn't going to be able to contribute that extra money towards my credit card payment, but I still am able to. So I'm super proud of myself. The rollover $100, that is not going to happen this month. That was a very cute idea and it was nice to have, but not happening this month, maybe next month. And lastly, to even out my trip expenses by the end of the month, I actually already did that. I landed on Thursday, Friday, I did it. So that's already done. So we have accomplished that goal as well. Now let's move on to income. For income, guys, I'm just gonna go with $21.71. If you're new here, I normally would account for $21.59 for my paycheck from my full-time job, which I get paid every other Friday, but it has since gone up to $21.71. And I was kind of having a hard time believing that that's where it's going to stay. And I think that's where it's going to stay, because that's what I got again for this pay period. Again, very blessed, very happy to be able to see a slightly larger number. Who can't use an extra couple of bucks? So that's where the income lies for this month. And again, of course, there was no rollover money next month. All right, as far as bills, nothing changed here. Everything stood the same as far as how much everything costed. I think the variable expenses were in the last paycheck, so we've already addressed that, but here's a quick picture of what the bills look like for this month. And then as far as our debts, here's where quite a bit changed. In the last couple of months, I did a balance transfer for one of my credit cards and then moved over different credit card balances over to that balance transfer credit card. I'm gonna be honest, my Apple credit card is eating me alive. Like, it's really coming from my throat. And I say this in the nicest way possible because it's so convenient to use, of course, having it just on your wallet and stuff. But I've had other credit cards on my wallet and it's been just fine. But the interest on the Apple credit card is killing me. And so I now decided to move some of that balance over to the balance transfer credit card. And then I decided to open up another balance transfer credit card to then move over almost the rest of the balance on this Apple card. It's been rough with the Apple card, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm grateful to have learned the lessons, and we're gonna move forward. So with that balance transfer card, they do give you a certain amount of months where you don't have to pay any interest. So that's gonna allow me to tackle that balance a lot more and actually make a dent in my debt, because I feel like I'm not making any sort of movement with this card at all. And I've been sending so much money to it. If you've been around for a while, you've seen how much money goes towards this credit card. So I decided that we're gonna make a change here and we're moving things around, because it's it's not worth it for me to keep doing what I'm doing. We did lower the allocation for this month. With the expenses that I put on my Apple credit card, it does, when I pay it back, it does meet the minimum payment. I said this in a previous video. So the money that I do send is normally just extra to try to cover the interest, and I feel like it barely does that. So with that being said, I did allocate a little less to the Apple credit card because, again, minimum payment was already met, but we are moving around that money. So I don't want to put too much towards it at this time. So we gave it 50 instead of the original 140 we were supposed to give it. And then with the second paycheck, I was able to allocate a little bit more towards an extra credit card payment. So I changed that here. Next up are expenses. These are staying completely the same. Expenses are really just money that I'm allocating for every 2 weeks. So every paycheck for spending, groceries, gas, fun, and other. And whatever I don't use goes into that rollover category that you saw in the income area. And I get to use that to allocate towards something else, like an extra credit card payment or to a savings account. Now on to savings. I don't think anything changed here. It might have, but I don't think it did. I think any extra money that I had or any money that I changed the allocation for went to that extra credit card payment, but I believe this is completely the same. Obviously, the travel savings fund is not going to get as much anymore because the trip is done, and so we'll be able to allocate money towards other places now. So AKA the extra credit card payment. And now on to our monthly breakdown visual. Just a visual of how my income has been split into debt, savings, expenses, and bills. I forgot the last category for a second. Just shows you how that's split up. If you do grab a copy of my budget dashboard, which is in my description, the dashboard will auto populate that for you and build it as you are entering in information into it, which is super cool. So you can see exactly where everything is going. And it's nice to see over time. I think my breakdown was very different last year, even a couple of months ago. And so it's really interesting to see how things change. That wraps up my budget with me for the second paycheck of September. The question of the video is, question of the video. So for the question of the video, I know we often talk about in the financial community about what the goals are, what the financial goals are, right? You're paying off debt, you're saving, you're doing both. You're trying to start budgeting in the first place. And so with all these goals and moving towards it, on top of life just being hard sometimes, what's one way that you find that you treat yourself while you're still reaching those goals, while you're still on that journey to accomplish them? So let me know in the comments below what you like to do. And if you're interested in more content like this and more lifestyle content, more silly content, I am very active on Instagram and TikTok at budgetwithchelsey. So you can find me there for that. And if this was your jam, make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm so proud of you. We'll talk soon. Bye.